Hello, everybody. Welcome to the November Booktube Chicks Book Club live show for Instant Karma by Marissa Meyer. As always, I'm here with Desiree and Kathleen, and we're going to spend the next, I don't even know how long, talking about Instant Karma. So, the way that our live shows run is that for the first 5 or 10 minutes, we talk about our initial thoughts, and it is non-spoiler. And then after we all talk about initial thoughts, we go into spoilers for those that have read the book or don't care about being spoiled. So, Desiree, would you like to start with initial thoughts?
Um, so I do like Marissa Meyer, and I think I was like kind of excited about this when I heard that it was coming, but then as like the book club was getting closer, I kind of lost a little bit of interest in it. Um, but I'm so happy. I really enjoyed it. I think it had a lot of unexpected elements in regards to how the story was put together. I loved that there was mention of the universe throughout. Interestingly, I just watched Can't Hardly Wait, which is about synchronicity, and I felt like there was kind of a lot of that happening in this book as well. And um I loved it.
All right, Kat.
Um, I didn't like it as much. There's nothing wrong with the story. I found it to be very boring. I liked the only part I enjoyed about this book was the actual charity, the activism about it. But otherwise, I felt the main character was very whiny and she's very judgmental, which I don't like. Yeah, she has a bit of like a redemption arc at the end, but I feel like if you don't know you're a bitch at the beginning, I feel like you deserve all the criticism you got later. So yeah, I didn't like her. Quint I actually did not like at the start, but towards the end I did like who I liked him as a character. I did like his character growth. He was more likable towards the middle, towards the end. So I did enjoy his character, but the other supporting characters to me were very bland. There was nothing special that like something that I expect from Miss Meyer. There was nothing special about the supporting characters, which is something that from her other books are very strong to me. So I'm still not sure what I'm going to rate this book. It might be 2 stars. It might be 3 stars. I don't know yet.
So I read this book at like the very end of October. I was lucky enough to win an e-arc, so I took very thorough notes when I was reading it. And I have a couple of different opinions with this book. I should probably start by saying that Marissa Meyer is my favorite author and that the Lunar Chronicles is my favorite series. So when I heard that my favorite author was writing a book in my favorite genre, which is contemporary, I was really pumped. There, all that being said, I rated this book a 4. This is only the second Marissa Meyer book that I've rated less than a 5. And while I think she did a good job with this book, I don't think it's her best work. I think she has superior books to this. And I had a couple of issues with the plot and the main character. And I'll talk more about that during spoilers. But I feel like this book was just pitched wrong. But I gave it a 4. I still really enjoyed it, but it's not my favorite thing that she has ever written before. So kind of moving into spoilers, I kind of want to talk about the controversy that started surrounding this book that we found out about like a week ago. I don't know if anybody has any specific thoughts on that, or where we want to start with addressing that. I do need to find the tweets again from it. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't know. I think some of what was mentioned was kind of based on an opinion, not having read the book, which may or may not change things. There was like sprinkles of her kind of thinking about this instant karma concept in regards to whether or not she was able to deliver that. I read that Marissa Meyer said that this book was actually based on a Renegade's character, that was the Renegade's character's superpower, but that character got cut from the book. And so she decided to use kind of the idea for that character, and is why she wrote this book.
That's interesting because I didn't know that.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. I don't know. I don't know if, I mean, it was mostly based on the John Lennon Beatles song Instant Karma, and like the Beatles, I feel like played a really big role in this book a lot. It was mentioned a lot. Their songs were mentioned. So I felt like there was a lot more connections to that versus like, I understand how karma is like a religious concept, and I understand that it might be a very important part to specific cultures, but it felt like it was just leaning more.
I did find the original tweet, and I think I understand that the main issue in a nutshell is that a white author is appropriating something from culture, which we've seen happen so much this year and in the past. But I think some other people are also pointing out that the concept of what goes around comes around is
in a lot of different,
yes, it exists in a lot of different cultures. I don't fully have an opinion on this just because I haven't gone too far in depth into the discussion about it. But I mean, we were talking about it last week and figured we need to bring it up with the live show. I haven't seen anybody except for the original tweet and maybe one other person address it. So I don't know if something else is out there about it, and I haven't seen Marissa Meyer say anything. So I'm kind of curious to just like keep an eye on that. Maybe. I don't know about you guys.
I mean, I feel like the person I don't believe she read the book. I think it was just an opinion she made over the what the concept of the book, what the summary of the book is. However, I don't personally feel I can have an opinion on this, whether she's right or wrong, because again, it's not my religion and it's not something I personally understand. So while yes, we should discuss it between the three of us, I don't think we are allowed to have an opinion on whether this is right or wrong, because again, it's not our religion, and it's not something that's part of our culture. But I do agree that this thing of like karma is in a lot of different religions and cultures. So if this is part of her culture, she's very much right to be offended that it's been written in this way. But again, I don't think I have the right to say whether it's wrong or right or wrong, because honestly, I don't know anything about it. I haven't done research on it, and it's not part of my culture or my religion or anything like that.
I agree.
But yes, yes, we should be discussing these things, and I guess I'm sorry for this person who did feel offended by the book, and there's not anything else I could say besides I apologize. I feel so bad that she was offended by the book.
Before we go any further, I forgot to do the synopsis. And I'm not going to like word for word read the synopsis, but basically this book is about Prudence, who is she's an overachiever basically, and one day she is granted, quote unquote, the power to cast instant karma on people.
Mhm.
I don't know about you guys. I think that this book, like when I was reading it, this book could have been marketed in a completely different way and like taken the instant karma part out of it, and I would have been okay with it, because I feel like there were large chunks where I completely forgot about the instant karma thing.
I agree with you. I was reading the book. I kept remembering that you mentioned that the instant karma part doesn't. And to be honest, I feel like if she would have taken the instant karma part out, it wouldn't have changed the book all that much. So to be honest, I don't even understand the purpose of instant karma in the book, because I feel like it didn't make much of a difference that it was there or it wasn't there.
I completely disagree.
Okay, tell me why, because I can't think of one instance where the instant karma, besides maybe like I don't know. No, I don't see any instance where the instant karma actually played a big role in the book.
So, I mean, first you have the concept of like the universe, right? The universe is kind of doling out rewards and punishments for actions. And you're starting off with Prudence being this very judgmental, overly ambitious, and she's just so sure of herself that she's a good person and she knows everything, right? So Quint is showing up and he's late, and obviously that makes him a bad person to her. And I feel like the idea of her having instant karma was what allowed her to see, like, and examine, why is this person being rewarded? Why is this person being punished? What did they do? And she's able to kind of look at things a little bit differently. Whereas in the beginning, she wouldn't have given it a second thought. But throughout the story, she's like, okay, this person did a crappy thing. And she watches the universe punish them. Quint does stuff, and then she gets really confused because the universe doesn't punish him. So she has to examine why. Why is he not being punished? Why is this not seen a certain way? And she has to ask herself and really think about things differently. And to me, that was like what started her journey and what allowed her to start shifting her own perspective.
I don't know. I really don't think that I mean, I understand what you're saying. Maybe I just didn't read the book into it so much, but I really, really think if she had taken the instant karma out, it wouldn't have made any difference. Like, if anything, in the very beginning, it just pissed me off because I think Prudence is the last person that should have this type of power, because she's already super judgmental to begin with. And so that's just how I feel like.
Well, you see, here's my thing. When this book was announced and like a short synopsis was announced, I don't remember hearing anything about the Sea Animal Rescue Center whatsoever. So that was kind of a surprise to find out about in the book. Maybe it's just because I was like, it's Marissa Meyer, I know I'm going to read it, I don't need to read a synopsis. But I mean, I agree with Kat that this book, I feel like there were so many instances where the instant karma thing took a back burner. I completely forgot that it was happening because the main focus was the Sea Animal Rescue Center, and that kind of took forefront, because I feel like she could have still understood Quint more without the instant karma, just because of like interacting with him at the rescue center. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think it was necessarily like, what caused her to develop feelings for him, but I think the instant karma is what allowed her not just to see Quint differently, but to see the whole world differently.
And I remember right when I was like started reading this book, I remember texting Kat being like, "You're gonna hate this main character," because she was annoying me so much. I felt like there was a part where Prudence was complaining to their teacher, like, "But you have to let me do this. You have to let me do this." That teacher doesn't have to let you do jack. Like, oh my god, she was such a brat. Like, I feel like she evolved a bit by the end of the book, but she was a brat in the beginning, and she was really annoying me. And I was like, I know if this character is annoying me, this character is going to annoy Kat. Like, it was so bad.
Just to further clarify, though, I think you could remove the instant karma and it would still be a good story and a good book.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that it was in there. I like that her parents are kind of like hippie-ish, and that all seemed to be interconnected in regards to like who she was and what she believed, and the idea of synchronicity and like all of that being in there. I liked.
I feel like so this book is pitched as like hate to love and contemporary romance. I don't think that the romance is very heavy in this book. Like, it's there, but I didn't find it happening mostly like as a large focus until like the last like 100 pages of the book. So I wouldn't go into it thinking like it's all like romance and sappy. And then what was the other thing?
And I think it's more like a slow, very slow
Very
burn.
slow. But in the YA sense, not in the adult romance sense.
Yes.
And kind of going back to the instant karma power again, honestly I think there were only some points with it where it kind of helped move the story along, some like different points throughout it. But then again, I think like after the part with the rescue center took off, that's where I think it kind of stepped back a little bit. Same thing with the science project. They were supposed to be redoing a science project in this book too. Don't remember that.
They did.
I know they did, but that took a big back burner too. It was like, aren't you guys supposed to be doing a science project? What happened to that?
I know that like Kat said that, you know, she felt like it was boring, but I loved all of the stuff that was happening with the animal rescue. Like, I kept reading it and being like, where can I volunteer? Where can I do this? How can I help? Like, just everything about it. Like, I loved that Prudence was, you know, thinking about it from a marketing standpoint, because I'm kind of interested in stuff like that. And then just the idea of helping animals. Like, I think having pets and caring about animals, I feel just helps us develop empathy. And so I really appreciate that she went from someone who kind of was just like, it's just an animal, to, you know, naming the sea lion and just being so connected to it, and how much it like changed her. So that was really nice to see. I thought just everything connecting to the rescue was really, really, I thought it was well done, and I was interested in it.
I mean, yeah, like I said, I liked the parts about the charity, but every other part I was like, I don't care about you, just get me to like the actual charity parts, and, you know, advocating for the health of animals, like that whole scene about like the beach cleanup and the release of those the sea lions that were released. I really, really enjoyed that scene, and I really liked it. But everything else, like, I don't care. I really didn't. Like, I just, like, this was the one book where I liked parts of the plot, but I didn't care about any of the characters. And it's usually like the opposite. I usually really am invested in the characters as opposed to the plot.
Yeah, I definitely think Marissa Meyer has better books than this. And this is like, we have to look at this is also like a huge step back from what she normally does, because she's done, you know, sci-fi fantasy retelling, and then she's done like the superheroes, that's fantasy there. And this is like it's like a big step from what she does.
Well, yeah, because isn't it like mostly original stuff versus a retelling? you know?
Well,
Like,
her Renegades was original stuff.
I didn't read Renegade, so I can't compare it to anything.
You have to read everything else that she does, Desiree. I don't know if we can be friends until you finish the Lunar Chronicles.
That's a big one. Winter's
Well, that's
big.
what I told Kat, because right before the first BookNet Fest, we were like, you have to finish Lunar Chronicles before you can room with us. And she did. And she loved it.
I don't know. Did you both listen to the audiobook?
No.
Yes.
Okay. You did not listen to the audiobook at any point, Chloe? No. Okay, because it wasn't available.
The fact, I'm glad you guys didn't, because I feel like
her voice was
if
annoying.
you hated the character by reading a normal book, like just reading the book, you would have hated her even more, because the main character, like the narrator, made her so much more aggravating and annoying. And I was like, I don't know if the narrator's contributing to my hate for Prudence,
I feel like
I feel like she is.
I wonder if
I really feel like it did.
I was trying to look up to see if it's the narrator who always does her stuff, and it is. Yeah. The same narrator has done all of Marissa Meyer's books.
Oh my god, that's funny.
I know, I love it. I've never listened to any of them, but I love that.
I feel like I didn't like Prudence in the beginning, and I know at some point I texted you both. I was like, Prudence is a bitch. Prudence is annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel like it was kind of early on where I started to shift a little bit in regards to how I felt about her. And it was no longer me disliking her. It was almost like kind of not feeling pity, but kind of sympathizing with her a little, because, a lot of that just stems from feelings of insecurity and inadequacy. And, and so like, I wasn't so upset about it. I was just kind of like, well, obviously she has stuff going on. I think the one thing that like really upset me the most about her was how she talked about her siblings. As someone who's like the oldest of 6, like there was just a lot of situations with the family as a whole. Like there was a part where Ellie, wanted to be entertained, and her mom was watching a baking show and folding, and somebody was on the phone, somebody else was playing their instrument, and then she was trying to work out the gala stuff, and they were all just kind of pawning off the youngest sibling. They were like, have her go play with your makeup, do this, do that. And I was like, that would have been a perfect opportunity for the mom to teach the little kid how to fold. That's like where I was like, seriously, why is she pawning off the youngest onto everybody else?
I don't have siblings. I don't know how this works.
Yeah, I think it would have been a game. It's like, you want to learn how to fold, Ellie? This is how we do it. How many shirts can you fold before the show is done? But I don't know. I know Kat feels like she didn't feel like the characters were memorable. I didn't feel that way. You had
the only
Morgan.
Character I really remember is, well, I guess I could, like, if you tell me who they are, I will remember. Like, Ari is the music person, and the only thing I know about, honestly, that stuck out to me about Jude is the fact that he's the twin, and that's pretty much everything else about them is forgettable.
I thought like Jude stood out because all the other siblings talked about how awesome he was and how he would spend time with them and play games with them. And, like he acted like a big brother, whereas Prudence kind of didn't want to have anything to do with them. She was just like, stop getting in my way, stop slowing me down, stop, go find something else to play with. Yeah, so she was kind of selfish in that aspect. Whereas Jude was just like, hey, as soon as lunch is over, let's play checkers, like whatever. He just was very eager to spend time with his siblings. And he was into D&D, and he made friends with everybody. I don't know. I liked the characters. Even the mom and dad, like, I felt like I could picture them. This whole thing reminded me of a movie that I've seen recently, though, called Hearts Beat Loud. And it's with Nick Offerman, and him, and like he owns a record store. And it kind of reminded me of that a lot.
I'm kind of like reading through my notes because the way I do my notes is like thoughts before that I'm reading it, thoughts during reading, and then like after reading. And there was that rainstorm where they got stuck at the center, and I'm reading my notes where it's like stuck in a rainstorm with each other. That is totally the setup for them encountering their feelings for each other.
Of course.
And then oh, it gets better. He's naked. Yep, this is happening. But not and then but not sexy happening. This is YA.
Oh my God.
And then now they're both basically naked, but in a platonic way.
Under blanket.
I had a lot of thoughts while this was going on.
Right. I think somebody has a question.
I'll put it up on the thing. All right. What did you guys think of Prue at the beginning versus the end? Well, at the beginning, I thought she was really annoying. I just kept texting Kat, like, you're not going to like this. She's going to annoy you. You're going to hate it.
Like I said, I listened primarily to the audiobook. So I don't know if it was just a narrator who just like, I mean, obviously I would hate it if I was reading a book, physically reading the book instead of listening to it. But Prudence, my issue with her is like a lot of characters that I hate. I hate them because they're annoying. They're kind of like that, just dumb person. Prudence is super judgmental, like in the very beginning. She writes people off. Like I said, when I was talking to these guys yesterday, in the very beginning, she's that type of person who puts people in a box and she keeps them there and she never lets them get out of that box. So with Quentin, for example, she talks about later on, he talks to her about it, how in the beginning, he truly, when they were put together as lab partners, he really tried to help her, but she would always redo his work. And it got to the point where he was so frustrated that she kept redoing his work that he just gave up because it felt like nothing he did was good enough for her. And because he gave up, she started calling him as not just incompetent, but lazy. And she kept him in that box until the end where he kind of confronts her and she kind of feels guilty about it. And I'm like, you do know you do this. She even admits it. She even says that she judged him and she like admits it to herself. And like, that's my problem with Prudence at the beginning. She's just so judgmental and she never gives anyone the opportunity to like prove her wrong. And she's just like she's so hard-headed and it pissed me off. And towards the end, she kind of like throughout the book, she does kind of have this kind of like character development where she does see the errors of her ways and how she kind of like misjudged Quint a lot. And so I do enjoy her character growth. I still don't like her in the end, regardless, but I can see the character growth that she did, and I see that she's gonna try maybe to stop being so judgmental and not cast people in these boxes as much. So Prudence in the beginning hated her with a passion. Towards the end, she's a little bit more tolerable.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Desiree.
No, so I was just going to say that, yeah, she was definitely annoying in the beginning. You know, there was some eye rolling happening. I think she grew a lot.
Yes.
And I think, you know, some of that is just experiencing more of life, right? Like she just thought she had everything figured out. She just thought animals were animals and, you know, Quint was lazy. And, you know, she just had, I feel like that's typical teenager mentality to feel like you have everything figured out. But the older you get, the more you realize you don't know shit about anything. But you know, she changed, she opened up a lot, she experienced more things, she let things into her heart, not just Quint, but the animals and stuff like that. And at the base level, she's still Prudence, right? So I'm sure she might still have some annoying qualities, but, you know, almost everything changed. Like she even started thinking about her siblings differently. So she says a couple of times where she feels like she's a better person with Quint, and I kind of feel like that was demonstrated, because he had this just super optimistic way about him. And, she would look at something in a certain way and he would be like, oh, you just do this, or you can just do this. And she's like, what? So he really helped her see the world differently, I felt like. But I don't know if there was any cringy parts. For me, anyway, there were a couple of times where I felt like maybe she was embarrassing herself. Because of the way she was acting and the things she was saying, and and I wanted to yell like, chill, Prudence, chill, but like, I don't think I ever wanted to put the book down. So I don't know how you guys felt about it.
I mean, just at the beginning when she was trying to get like a redo on the project, like I said earlier, it's like that teacher doesn't have to let you do anything, and you're just really annoying at this point.
I agree. She was annoying, but honestly, if I was in her part, if in her place, I would honestly do the same thing. Because
like, I understand, like,
in high school, I was very like concerned about my grades, and I never gotten anything below a B in high school. And if I had gotten a C, I would have gone to the teacher and begged. I don't care how stupid I would have begged. No, I'm serious, because
that's funny.
I especially if I worked as hard as she did, I want a second chance. Like, if yes, she kept putting the blame all on Quint, but I totally understand her, because if I worked as hard as she did and really thought I did such a great job and ended up with a C, I would have I'm like, no, this is unacceptable. And if the teacher said no, I would have gone to the supervisor. I would have raised hell. Like, I'm being serious. Like, a C would have, especially because it's the end of the year, and I believe the teacher said that it's 30% work of their grade. I'll be like, no. You're not going to bring my average down. If you can't help me, I'm going to your supervisor. I will turn into a Karen.
I mean, I hate group work.
Yeah.
So I feel for that.
I kind of feel like Quint was a bit of a saint, because she was constantly like saying crap to him that anybody, like any normal person, would have been like, listen, bitch. You need to stop. But he just kind of kept rolling his eyes and like just letting it roll off his back. I mean, he was probably fairly confident in himself, and he knew what he was capable of, and didn't really feel like he necessarily had to prove anything to her. But that's just a lot of patience that he exerted. I felt like that she didn't deserve most of the time. I do have a question though. Did you, because I felt like I knew right away in the beginning chapters when the whole project thing happened, I knew that the reason he was showing up late was because he was working at a rescue. Did you guys identify that too?
Wait, what?
No, not at the beginning. Wait,
are you asking if we knew at the beginning that he had something going on?
Well, he clearly had something going on, but I knew like as soon, like I knew those were his pictures right away. I knew he was working at at a rescue center. Like, I knew that was the reason specifically why he was late.
No.
Okay. I just knew he had something going on. I didn't think that I knew that he did probably what he did in the actual project, the report was probably all his work, but I didn't make the connection that he was working at the rescue center. I thought maybe he did volunteer work there or something, or he went to the rescue center, just took a couple pictures.
I just thought he was actually lazy.
Oh my god, are you serious?
No, I didn't really have any thoughts, because
if he was truly lazy, he wouldn't have done that work. He would have just shown up and just stood next to her and not do anything. But the fact that he actually did some work, even though he forgot, I think, like the final report, or what was it, the written report, and she had it done regardless. But I feel like if he was just lazy, he wouldn't have done anything. But the fact that he did kind of made me suspicious, and I'm like, okay, he's got something going on that he does before school or whatever. But I didn't make the connection that it was like a rescue center or something.
Would you label Quint as a himbo?
Oh,
what the heck is a himbo?
It's a himbo.
What?
Oh, is this the thing where it was like a male bimbo, like you said, like Channing Tatum or something like that?
I don't know
Is
if
that what
I
I
ever
asked?
mentioned Channing Tatum, but like
Somebody
yeah,
said that.
A male bimbo? Is that what you said?
I think so. Like
Somebody said this
just
because I remember there was a picture of Channing Tatum when his book came out or something like that, and he was supposed to be reading it to a stuffed unicorn, but it was just the dust jacket. Was that not you? I swear to God, that was you.
I do remember that picture. That's funny.
I was like, now I'm gonna go find this picture. Oh my God.
I don't know what the exact definition
See, that's right here.
of himbo is.
I don't know if you guys can see that. It's just the dust jacket he's reading. But yeah, I don't know.
No, according to this definition, I don't think he would be. But like, I felt like she kept harping on his poor spelling. And I feel like it was just mentioned a lot.
Yeah, I still don't know. I don't have an answer
I
for
don't
your
think
question.
just because he doesn't know how to spell means he's automatically a himbo. I mean, no offense. I see lots of people on my Facebook that don't know the difference between dare, or your, and your, or the one that bothers me, loose and lose. There's a difference. It bothers me so much because I don't want to be that person who like corrects their spelling. But anyway.
I always have to double check that because I don't know those either. the lose and the loose, I always have to double check it. I'm like,
really
right? Sometimes, girl, sometimes you just have a moment, okay? It happens.
I actually feel like Quint was he was a cinnamon roll. He was the best.
He's not Kai. He's not Kai level cinnamon roll.
Oh.
He's still finished the
like, I don't know. I don't think like he was a photographer and a graphic designer and a volunteer at an animal thing rescue.
Animal thing.
And he was like, he was funny and he was nice to everybody. And I liked that story about him smiling. I thought that was cute. About his mom telling him he should smile at everybody because you can't be mean if you're smiling.
Because of his eyebrows.
Oh yeah, because he has weird eyebrows.
No, but I as soon as that scene happened, so on TikTok I followed this. I forgot his handle name, but he's like this big African American man, and the way his face is positioned, it's not that he has resting bitch face, it's that he looks angry all the time. And I think his handle is like angry face or something. I don't know. It has to do with the fact that he's always angry. So he's like always like this, like his face is just scrunched up like he's angry. And it's just so funny because when he actually like smiles, like his face lifts and it's like he looks genuinely happy. He like no longer looks angry. So I feel like that whole scene reminded me of that one guy from TikTok.
That's funny.
Now, what I thought there was gonna be more with that burger joint. Like I thought a lot more was gonna happen with that. Like I know they kind of discovered that the burger joint was using like a what was it, like a factory or something that wasn't really abiding by their guidelines.
Yeah. I think that was just supposed to be like for that activist to have some sort of plot line. I think her name is Morgan.
Yeah. I just thought there was going to be more with it. And I appreciate that Prudence was like, should we be using them to cater the gala? Because I kind of had that same thought. Like, should you be?
Like, I don't know if this is something we should do.
But did you guys know that, Shauna was the villain in this?
Okay, so I had a brief moment where I thought Morgan was going to be the villain at the end. And then, like, right around the time where it started to be obvious that it was Shauna, I was like, oh, okay, it's Shauna. I had a brief moment where I thought it was Morgan, though.
I'm surprised that, once Prudence was fired and she was running out of the building and she saw the earring on, like, the pendant on Shauna, that there wasn't more thought behind that she wasn't like, wait a minute, and she didn't run back in.
At that point, I felt really bad for Prudence because they didn't believe her, and like Quint was like instant like angry. I felt bad for her.
Really, yeah. I mean, yeah, but just looking at the evidence, she was kind of suspect.
Yes, suspect.
Like opening their mail, touching the money.
I was like wondering, like, when she had the idea to go there and take the money, I'm like,
that's not a good idea.
Are you like stupid? Like you tell yourself that you're this super smart person, but that was a really stupid idea. Like, I don't understand what. Like how, like, what if there were cameras looking? Like, yeah, she was super suspicious. Yeah, I got mad when Quint said all those horrible things to her, but like, girl, you were right there. What did you expect him to think? Oh my god, like, no.
That was a rough scene, I feel like, because I was like totally giddy with the whole storm stuff, and then like, you know, telling personal stories and stuff like that, and I thought that whole thing was well done, but then to walk into that the next morning, that was rough.
Is there anything else we want to discuss about this book?
No. Do we have any questions? If anybody else is still there?
Nothing new.
I know Kat didn't like it. She said she might give it a 2, but I loved so much of it. And it was just nice to be reading a book that I really wanted to read. Like, once I started it, and then, you know, Prudence started kind of processing things differently, then I just always wanted to be picking it up. So it was nice to be invested in the story. And I look forward to Marissa Meyer playing around more in contemporary romance. I think she has another contemporary romance that's supposed to be coming up relatively soon.
I'm really excited to see like what she does next, because I think she's released a book every year for like probably the past like 5 or 6 years now. Wow. It's been a long time. So I'm like, what's next? I'm really excited. Like, I know every November, look forward to a Marissa Meyer book. So I'm pumped for what's next. Do we have anything else we want to discuss?
No.
Desiree, you got anything?
I don't know. I'm just happy that I learned the difference between a seal and a sea lion.
You know, I learned it and then I forgot it. So
one has little ear flaps. The sea lions have ear flaps. I don't know. I just really like, and I mentioned this in our Pages and Pals, that I just really liked the activism in it. You know, I love that it's showing a younger audience that they can be activists and they can work for things, causes that they really care about and stuff like that. So I hope, it was inspiring me while I was reading it. So I really hope it inspires others.
Like I said in the beginning, I gave it 4 stars. I don't think it's just her best work. I like other things by her, but overall I thought it was good. And yeah.
It was okay. Like I said, I don't know how I feel about this book. It's either a 2 or 3. Yes, the main character had some sort of redeeming characters. Like, she did have a character growth, but she just honestly, she did ruin the whole book for me. The only thing that made it somewhat redeemable was the activism. I did like all the parts with the Animal Rescue Center, and and Quint I didn't like in the beginning, but I kind of grew to like him towards the end. But I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. After reading this, I probably will not pick up another Marissa Meyer contemporary. I'll be honest. I'll stick to her other genres that she likes to read.
I thought you were gonna say Marissa Meyer like all together.
No, just her contemporaries. Like, because I didn't like it. So.
Well, okay. Sorry, I got distracted for a moment. So yeah, that was everything regarding Instant Karma, and we have one more month left of this god awful year of 2020. And for December, I don't think any of us have a physical copy, but I have a picture on my phone that'll hopefully show up. We're going to be reading, you can't really see that. We're going to be reading Among the Beasts and Briars by Ashley Poston. I wonder if you can see that now. It still doesn't do anything. You can see everything except for the title. As our December book. So this is her new release. It came out in October, and I know it's a fantasy. I want to say it's also a retelling ? I'm not sure. But I am looking forward to reading this book because all I've ever read from her is contemporary and sci-fi. Also, this is our second Ashley Poston book this year, but it's what we all agreed on, so it just happened that way. And our live show is going to be on Sunday, December 20th, at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are doing it before the holidays because Christmas is coming up that week, and we want to make sure that we're able to spend time with our families and whatnot. So yes, on Sunday, December 20th. So we have like a month to read this book, and I just got it from the library like the other day. So yeah. Does anybody else have anything they want to add about anything? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, in that case, thank you guys for joining us for our Instant Karma live discussion. Thank you for the questions, and hopefully we will see you guys next month to discuss Among the Beasts and Briars by Ashley Poston. So we will see you guys on December 20th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye.
Bye.